lid on this smoke that's coming out. Little action stuff here. Nothing great so far photographically, but these guys are awesome. One frame, might try to use as a double right down the middle of a street. I think that's Rod Stewart. Although I don't think Rod Stewart's playing Carmen. Almost positive. Looking for a place. This is not. Nah. Doesn't work as a double. No me gusta. We are in the Afro-Andean section of southern Peru in a town called Carmen, and we're getting a little tour around this town by one of the local guys who runs the Afro-Andean, Afro-Peruvian sort of community center here in Carmen. And we just had the most mind-blowing lunch I've had in a long time. And this town is really cool. It's very, very dry, very dusty. It's in the middle of the desert. Once you leave Lima driving south, it is some of the most bleak landscape you can imagine. It is just literally to the east, it's just dunes as far as you can see. It's pure desert with the ocean, the blue-gray of the Pacific on the right. It's a pretty dramatic space. But this is a part of Peru I've never been to before. The spacing photographically is completely different from where we were in Lima. It's much more open. This is much more my kind of spacing with larger distances between foreground, midground, and background. But we're just getting a first chance to walk around right now and make a few pictures and have some food and learn about the culture here. This is it. This is fantastic. It's our first day in the South. Action shot. Pretty sure those are Chilean flamingos. This is Paracas Bay, just after sunrise. And been looking at these things with my binoculars up close. Man, what an incredible bird that is. It just, the design and how these things are just pillaging the shoreline for food. And what you can see out here is the dunes here go straight into the bay. I was just with a student who said, he's from Australia. He said, I've never seen an environment like this before. It's just been an absolutely glorious morning. There's West Peruvian doves and rufous-collared sparrows, and the flamingos and tons of cormorants and gulls. And I mean, here's a flamingo coming in, about to land, and when they peel by in that morning light, the color of these things is just incredible. It's like a piece of artwork flying, and they're bizarre looking. Let's face it, they're like hipsters, you know? You look at them and you're like, I would have never put that ensemble together, and yet there they are. Cusco. It's easy to look at this place as a town. It feels like a town, but it's really not. It's a full-blown, legitimate city with about 500,000 inhabitants spread out all the way down the Cusco Valley. And it's a very chaotic, hectic place, but it also feels like this incredible blend of ancient history and the burgeoning modernity of modern Peru wrapped up in this place that at times feels, especially in the historic district, feels like a pueblo, feels like a small town. But it's not. It also sits at 11,000 feet, so basic walking, hiking, climbing around here, if you're not used to being at altitude, can be a real challenge for people. Drinking mate de coca, coca tea is helpful, water, you know. Typically people's sleep patterns are disturbed here quite significantly because their bodies are trying to adjust to flying in typically from Lima, which is at sea level, to 11,000 feet. Even for me, living at 7,000 feet, I can definitely feel the altitude here walking around. But it's an incredible place that you also don't want to rush being in Cusco. There is kind of that jarring interface with tourism here because you get a lot of hikers and trekkers from all over the world that are coming to go to Machu Picchu, coming to hike the Inca Trail. Big backpacker scene here as well. But it's a really wonderful place. This is my third trip to Cusco, and I absolutely love it. And it's changed quite a bit in some ways from the last trip, but there's also that same familiarity. Plaza in Cusco. One of my favorite things in the world is unprotected fireworks and children. I think it blends perfectly, makes me think of Peru. I mean, like homemade rockets firing off inside the crowd with no protection. Just makes my heart sing. I love it. Main Plaza in Cusco is actually quite a place. There's 3 or 4 plazas very close by. This happens to be the main. And pretty much perpetually there's something happening here. So photographically, some of it is a bit touristy. Who cares? Your job as a photographer is to respond to what's in front of you. It doesn't matter if it's tourism. It doesn't matter if it's remote cultural isolation. You don't pick and choose. You make pictures of what's there. Okay, I failed to mention one of my favorite other things. I'm 54, and I'm past the point in my life where I think it's cool to try to act like I'm a local, because I'm not. I don't even really feel like I'm a local in New Mexico where I live. But I'm definitely not a local in Peru, and no matter what I eat on the street, I'm not going to be any closer to being a local if I eat like, I don't know, decaying dead street dog. But one of the things I love is you still run into young folks who are trying to prove a point of like, I can be more local than you. And typically you see the same person twice. You see the first time you see them eating something on the street that you look at and you go, that's going to be a problem. In fact, that could be an immediate problem. And then approximately within the next 30 minutes or so, you see that same person sprinting through the streets of whatever city you happen to find yourself in. Sprinting, sweat on their brow, a look of urgency that's really hard to replicate any other way. And I just look and think to myself, yeah, I was probably that person at one point in my life. I'm certainly not anymore. And hopefully, you aren't either.